G'day folks, welcome back to another Pete's Investing channel video, and today we're looking at scams and what to look out for. This is a user request, so this is going to be specific to trading. Now there's obviously many scams out there related to dating apps, calls from your bank or a telecom claiming to offer you a refund, etc., or your bank account. Obviously never click on links you're unfamiliar with. Always check from the sender it's someone you can trust. Always go to the original website to check any requests and never click on a link in an email. Again, today we're going to focus on scams and what to look out for. Again, today's request is suggested by Deal ZZ. It would be, and he says or she says, it would be good if you could make a video about all the scammers today who trick people day and night into investing and then lose everything. Why have they become so many? Who do they work for? Do they have the same boss? All the money in the world has banks and scammers. Well, just a couple of quick points on this one. Why they have become so many. There's so many scams out there because there are so many people that are willing to become naive and fall into the trap. So it's like you're throwing a hook and line into the river. You're eventually going to catch a fish, and the more hooks you throw in there, the more chances there are of people getting hooked on that hook and falling victim. Who do they work for? Well, basically, most of them are, look out for themselves. Some do have organisations that have set up, I suppose, fake offices to trick people or to call people and try and scam them out of money. So there have been some organisations that do that. Do they have the same boss? Not necessarily. Again, it all depends on where you're being scammed from. Is it a certain country, a certain region? So again, it's hard to tell with all these scams going on. So again, I'm going to go through a checklist on what to look out for in terms of trading and scams. So starting off with promises of guaranteed or risk-free profits. Anyone that promises you a trading strategy that's going to guarantee a return, probably start running away from that as a first sign of a red flag. What I do in my videos, I show you the back test and I show you the pitfalls. So you've got to be aware of, there is no strategy out there that I can safely say that is 100% risk-free, okay? So anyone that promises you risk-free guarantees of profits, turn away from that strategy. They're probably scamming you. Often when I have seen many videos out there that show you a strategy that seems to work, a lot of the times those strategies that are demonstrated are very limited in their scope. In other words, they might choose a certain chart that's showing a positive move. For example, you look at moving averages. They don't show you the downside of what happens if you get a sudden drop in the price of those strategies. So again, just be careful of guaranteed profits. Pressure to act quickly or miss out. Again, always be aware of any calls or requests that are asking you to act quickly. Otherwise, you're going to miss out. If it sounds too good, often it means it is a false flag. Unlicensed or fake brokers or platforms. Again, always double check any particular brokers you want to start trading with or any platforms. Make sure they've got a bit of a history, do some research. It's always worth doing that extra bit of research to understand who you're investing your money with. If you want to set up a trading account, and probably start small and then get some returns happening with that strategy or that bank account before you add any more funds to it. Again, do some research. It's always good to understand who you're investing with. Requests for unusual payments, crypto, gift cards, overseas transfers, etc. Again, it's a bit of do some research. Make sure you know if you're going to be subscribing to a particular channel and contribute to that person. Make sure that it's a trusted source. For example, I use Patreon for subscribers to get extra, perks in addition to my YouTube channel. So that's a trusted source of a platform you can contribute to, and a lot of YouTubers do use Patreon as an example, and there's probably others out there, but again, do some research, make sure you're happy with who you're investing with, and your money's going to the purpose of what you're trying to achieve. Also, coincidentally, today I noticed another YouTuber I subscribe to. It's not a trading YouTube channel. It's just a different information type channel. This lady has noticed that she has someone creating a fake Facebook account using her image to request payment into that fake Facebook account. So make sure whoever you're subscribing to is legitimate, related to the person that think is who you're subscribing to. In other words, there can be people out there that do use fake accounts trying to imitate or mimic the original, in this case, YouTuber. So for example, for myself, I post on YouTube, Patreon, but also Rumble and BitChute, and I don't have any other accounts that I post on. Secrecy or insider trading claims, again, make sure you've got some decent backup in terms of if someone tells you there's an insider trade happening. For example, let's say Warren Buffett's selling some stock. Make sure you do some research and find out if that's actually true. And one good source of information you can get those insider trades from is Yahoo Finance. So here, for example, is the Yahoo Finance page for NVIDIA. And you go to the Holders tab down there, and under Insider Transactions, and it shows you here in the last 6 months how many shares were purchased with the number of transactions and how many shares were sold with the number of transactions in the last 6 months. And if you scroll down, you can actually see all the insiders within NVIDIA that bought and sold shares in the last 2 years. So again, make sure there's this is a free service on Yahoo Finance. You don't have to pay for it. There are other services out there you can subscribe to that give you insider information similar to this, but most US stocks do report into Yahoo Finance. Approach via unsolicited calls, messages, or social media. Now again, just be careful of what you get requested by or from who. This is a email I get frequently on one of my Rumble pages. I do YouTube, Rumble, and BitChute, and this is an example of what I get quite frequently, and they change the wording somewhat, but you can see here it seems quite genuine. Hi, Pete's Investing, I'm George, a channel growth strategist. They all claim to be strategists or genuine in terms of helping me create better content in my videos. When I first saw this, I thought, oh geez, it sounds pretty good, but then I started getting more and more, and either they're genuine and they're really flooding my inbox with, or my comments with these messages, but I don't trust it. So again, just be careful if it's too good to be true. What are they? They're not offering any particular price in terms of what they want, and even if they did, I wouldn't be reaching out to them anytime soon. Although if they are genuine, I'd be very flattered to know that, but I wouldn't be. If I was you, I wouldn't be contacting them to get any quote-unquote help if you're a starter up in YouTube. Impersonation of advisors, regulators, or celebrities. Again, needless to say, if you get a celebrity or a personality that seems to be promoting a strategy that's a quick win or instant profits, then obviously it sounds too good to be true. They generally are. So always be very, very cautious of any such celebrities reaching out to you. Complicated, vague, or jargon-filled explanations. So again, if you're not, the number one rule of trading or investing in anything, if you don't understand something, don't put money towards it, don't invest in it. For example, I don't fully understand options, okay? So I'm not going to go and invest in options. So I need to do some research, understand it better, do some paper trading, and understand the pros and cons before I invest anything in options. Also, in my videos, if I seem to be going over certain jargon that seems to be a bit vague, I do say in my videos to always reference a +1 videos, where I do a deeper dive into the trading strategies. So I try to make myself very transparent in how I do things. And of course, if there's any questions you've got in regard to any of my videos, feel free to comment and make a request in terms of explanation of certain strategies, and I'll do my best to cover it. But again, I do have links in every video which go towards the +1 videos, which are basically explaining a deeper dive into the strategies I go into. Check for any registered of licensees of your broker you intend to invest with. In Australia, I'm based in Australia, so for example, in Australia we've got a local regulator with ASIC, so make sure the broker you intend to invest with is registered, and do some background checks if you're not too familiar with them. There's plenty of websites out there that cover and review various brokers. Maybe do a best broker for your region as well. There's plenty of websites out there that help you identify the right investor to put your money towards. Avoid sending money to personal or unverified accounts. So again, if you're not familiar with who you're sending money to, as I mentioned earlier, for example, I use Patreon. which is a separate website which you can go to and contribute to one of my channels outside of YouTube. That is a trusted source. It's got a good track history. There's plenty of investors that use it. Do some research. Make sure you understand where you're sending your money to. And again, never click on links in emails or text messages that you're not familiar with. Always go to the source of that website to better understand who you're going to be sending any money to if you don't already. Similar like to if you get a text from your local bank, it might look like your bank is sending you a text message, and to click on this link to do open to verify something. Never click on that link. Always go to the bank's website, or better still, call the bank during the office hours and ask them, is this legitimate? And before you click on any links or invest any money anywhere. Be cautious about exclusive tips or hype around unknown stocks. Now, I cover the very high volume, if you like, or high trading stocks or instruments like gold, silver, natural gas, and they're they're very popular in terms of instruments to trade. But I also do stocks, as in shares, across various regions of the world's markets. I do that on Patreon. And what I look for there is I look for blue chip stocks. In other words, I don't show any stocks which are penny stocks. And penny stocks are basically those that are worth 1 or 2 cents. Often, so many times I've been told by friends or acquaintances that have said, oh, this stock is only worth 5 cents. It's going to skyrocket. Look, it may do, but I prefer to invest in blue chip stocks, which might be a bit more sluggish in their movement, but at least I know they've got a good track. So always make sure you're investing in something that's got a good track history and it's not just an unknown. And lastly, if in doubt, walk away. Legitimate investments remain tomorrow. There's always investments out there. Don't be a fear of missing out situation. Don't jump into an investment or a strategy because you think, it looks too good to be true, and they often are too good to be true. Do your research, do some paper trading, make sure you've got the right understanding. Trading is a bit like learning a language. You're not going to learn a language from a 10-minute video. So do some some research in what you're going to be investing in, understand the money management, what's your money going to be exposed to, understand the pitfalls, always do the what if. And again, I do videos, and you've probably seen a few if you're a regular viewer, where I look at revenue. Let me show you the chart 1 second. So this is a spreadsheet I use to do some analysis on the strategies that I test. So here, for example, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 strategies tested on this particular template. And I look at the revenue as the number 1 KPI. And you can see here, this strategy number 1 has scored the highest revenue, and strategy number 2 has scored the lowest. You can see there I rank them at the bottom and the sum of total returns on each of those strategies. Now that's not the final piece of the information. I also need to look at the drawdown. And the drawdown is how much your trading account drops should the price go against you. So, and you can see here, the best drawdown, or the least drawdown, if you like, was strategy number 2. Now notice it had the least revenue, but also had the best drawdown. And you can see there the other rankings. Then finally you do a percentage of revenue over drawdown, simply dividing revenue divided by drawdown, and strategy number 3 in this case came out on top, had the best revenue over drawdown. So again, if you're prepared to have a very small revenue but also a very small drawdown, then strategy number 3 here would be a good idea. Now again, I'm not going to go into the detail of these strategies here. I've done that previously on my Patreon page, but you get the idea of how you should do some due diligence and analysis. The last thing I look at, and you don't have to do this, but something I prefer to look at as well, is the number of trades. The first strategy here had the most trades, because I like to get in and out of trades quickly, and the least number of trades was equal with this one, the second and third strategy. They had the least number of trades over the period. And then I do a final ranking down here. So basically what I'm saying is don't just look at revenue as the only KPI. Look at also at the drawdown, what sort of impact will have if the price goes against you. And the percentage of revenue over drawdown gives you, I suppose, a KPI that you can sort of rely on for what strategy may suit your risk profile. So there you go. It's the quick checklist of a few things to look out for in terms of red flags, in terms of scams. and a couple of safety steps you should follow as well just before you get involved in any particular strategy or investment. So if you got value out of that, hit that like and subscribe button. But also if you want to go deeper dive into some of the shares that I review on a weekly basis, subscribe to the Patreon page, at least on the free trial, where I publish weekly bullish shares across regions of the world's markets. Thanks, and talk to you in our next video.